everyone, it's Lindsay from Fresh Start Tuition. I've had a few queries about something this week and I've seen a lot of parents' posts about this, so I wanted to try and clarify a few things for you. So your children are off school. They had a very structured timetable in school and they had a lot of different classes and a lot of different subjects every day. And yet when you get them home, it is not possible to follow that schedule, and parents are getting really frazzled with the idea that they have to follow that schedule. And this is not the case. You are not being asked to follow an entire school day. Firstly, it's not always practical. You are at home because you might have been asked to work from home. You are at home because you might have one or more of your family members ill. You're at home because you have no childcare and all of your children might be at home. So it's not possible to sit down and do tailored classes for each of your children, or all of them, depending on how many you have, to suit all that they had going on in school, particularly as different children would have had different classes at the same time because they're in other year groups. So home educating is very much about finding a schedule that suits you and your family. Many people choose to home educate because they have something in their life that means they need to fit around it. It could be that they have professional commitments that mean they spend some of each year out of the country. Or they might have someone in the family with a medical condition, particularly a child with a medical condition that means everything needs to revolve around medical appointments and physical therapy and things like that. So your schedule needs to include all of the things that you normally have to fit into your day. So if that means getting up and having breakfast and then actually everybody does some exercise together and then chills out for a while, that's fine. Because you've all done some exercise together, you've got your blood pumping, you've got your body moving, and then you have some time to relax, let yourself wind down, and that could be reading a story or reading a book. It doesn't have to be finding a whole English curriculum from the internet and then setting yourself reams of work to do, because that's not practical. You should aim to get some reading every day. Whether that is their favourite comic book or a story that they really like, or listening to an audiobook, or if you're like me and like kittens, you could go and listen to the Kitten Lady, who is doing reading with kittens, which is really cool. So she does some amazing work. She gets kittens that are most likely to be euthanized, so teeny tiny babies that really wouldn't survive, and she has special incubators for them and takes care of them. But she is dedicating some of her time to reading aloud to children, and the kittens are playing in the background, and you get to meet the different orphans that she's taking care of. So that's really fun. There are loads of famous people who are currently offering reading options for different age groups of children and also for adults as well. It's great to be able to just let somebody else tell you a story for a while and switch your brain off. And you can do that as a family. So that's something that you should be aiming for every day, but it doesn't have to be the prescribed book from school. It doesn't have to be reading so many pages or, reading this much and then having to analyze it. It can just be about reading. If you want to go and do some analysis of things, you could pick a page and ask them to identify all the verbs. And maybe another day you could look at how many different sentence structure language tools can you find on the one page or in the one chapter if they're reading lots. Can you find any examples of alliteration? So it can still incorporate a lot of the things that they do in school, but this can be more relaxed at the moment. A little bit of maths is always good, but it doesn't have to be sitting down at a desk. You could be playing a board game and rolling dice and getting them to count it out. And I think I did a video about that a few days ago, so that's on my page if you want to take a look. You could be counting and weighing out measurements for the cooking that you're doing as a family. And learning to follow a cooking recipe is a great thing to be able to do. And that is part of your daily life. Everybody's at home. A lot of people are struggling to get certain foods, and a lot of people are trying to go back to cooking from raw foods because that's what we can currently access. So incorporate that into your plan. Do a little bit of study about the benefits of eating that type of food, and then use those weights and measurements to build some math skills. But you're also getting a chore done that you need around the house and it fits into your timetable. If your child has lessons through school, they might have online classes. That's great. They can join those classes, but it's unlikely to mimic their school day completely. There will be changes, and it's okay to have everything else fluctuate a little bit around that. And what happens on a Wednesday might not be the same as what is prepared for them on a Friday or a Monday, or whatever the day it is. So if you are able to adjust your schedule a little bit, then it's going to be less of a shock for them. There might be things that your child really wants to do, but that there isn't time for normally because they're in school, they've got all their after school clubs, and they've got loads of things that need done, and you've got loads of things that need done. And now you've got time. Not necessarily the way you wanted the time, but you're all in the house and there will be time. I'm bored. Give me something to do. Well, think about those things that your child has said they want to try and give them a go. There are hundreds and hundreds of free videos online for learning all sorts of things. So you could go and pick up an exercise class. You could do the morning PE with Joe at 9:30, which seems to be really popular. You could learn how to fold paper and make origami. And there's bound to be a basic version for younger children, a slightly more technical version for older children or people like me who find it tricky. There are lots and lots of different activities that you can do. You can follow along with somebody teaching kids how to draw. And that is a skill that they can apply to all sorts of things in life. So if there's something your child has said they really want to do, or something that you've thought, I'd love to try that when I have time, see if you can find a video or somebody that's teaching. So many people are advertising things for free at the minute, and give it a try. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. And if it does work for you, it can become part of your schedule and part of your routine over the next probably few months. And then when we go back to real life, these things might be incorporated into your new future schedule and say, actually, I find more value from that. A really, really big thing is the amount of time that students actively learn in school compared to the amount of time they're present in school. They may be there from 8, half 8, 9 in the morning until 2:30, 3, 3:30, 4, depending on their schedule. And there was a little study done that said, not a little study, it's quite a big study, but it said that 51 minutes is the average time that a student in primary school spends actively learning in class for one whole day. 51 minutes. And when you are home educating, if you are hitting 51 minutes of active education, you are matching what a child is getting in primary school. Let that sink in for a second. 51 minutes. They might have 5 or 6 hours worth of classes, but less than 1 hour is the amount of time that they actually engage their brain in new learning. A lot of it is chatting to their friends, interacting as peers, learning how to behave as sensible, well-mannered little humans rather than monsters. A lot of it is moving from class to class, setting up one schedule or one piece of activity, or moving to the next place to go swimming or to go to lunch or to take their break, or if they're really little, to get their nap time. And it's absolutely fine to still do all of those things. And you shouldn't expect to sit down at the dining room table or wherever you're learning for 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time and do a task and then think, well, I have to immediately do the next one. No, sit down, do 5, 10, 15 minutes of something and then go and do something else. Go and play with your Lego, go and build something, go and paint part of your house if you've got the time to redecorate. There are loads of things that expand a young person's education and make them a well-rounded individual, and it is not all about schoolwork. I will be sharing lots of ideas for all different things that I come up with, and some of them are very specifically tailored towards a subject, and some of them are about relaxing and having fun with your kids. And you need to find a balance, and that balance is going to be very different for everybody. You should not be comparing what you are doing with your child or children with what everybody else is doing, because what fits for your family might be horrific for somebody else's. So you shouldn't try to copy somebody else's if you look at their schedule and go, no, that would kill me. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so take your time. This first week is mostly a kind of shock and recovery period. Everybody's going, we're in lockdown. We could be here for a while. It's only 3 weeks. It's only 3 weeks. It's not really 3 weeks. It could be, that's the extension period. That's the starting point. We could be going for months, and it needs to be sustainable. So this week is about settling yourselves into your new routine, everybody getting used to being in the house all the time together, and then finding a way that it actually works. And if that means that they still start their school day at a normal time and finishing at a normal time, great. But that school day might have other things in it. That might include cooking a lunch from scratch. That might include going out into the garden and picking up weeds, or finding rubbish, or doing a scavenger hunt outside. There's a really good one that I've seen that has like find so many types of leaf, see if you can find an insect, can you find 3 different types of bugs, I think it was, and then you had to kind of investigate all of those things that you had found by doing some research later. So there's loads and loads of ideas, but figure out what works for you, figure out what each member of your family would really like to do. And is it possible to do that, or to find a way of learning something like that from your home, and take advantage of the many, many free courses that are coming up? So give it a try. If you have any specific questions about, I'm trying to do this with my child, or my child wants to do that and I don't know how, then please send me a message. I had somebody today who's like, I'm stuck, I cannot get fractions, and we're trying to do this work and they do want to do it, so can you help? So I made a video of how to do that type of fraction and sent it to them. And that's definitely something I can help with. So let me know if that suits, and give it a try. I'd be curious to see what your schedules actually work out as. So do you have a plan every day? Is it the same every day, or has it changed? And how are you making it work for all members of your family to be able to do everything that they need to do? So there we go. Thank you very much for listening. If you watch later, just put a little thingy in to say